This is the first dialogue between J. Krishnamurti and Swami Venkatesananda in Saanen, 1969.
I have come to you, Krishnaji, as a humble seeker comes to a guru, not in the sense of hero worship, but in its literal sense as the remover of darkness of ignorance, which the word guru stands for. Gukarascha andhakarascha rukaras tannirodakaha andhakara vinashitvat gururitya vidiyate. Gu stands for the darkness of ignorance, and Ru stands for its remover, its dispeller. And hence the Guru is the light that dispels the darkness of ignorance. And you are that light for me now. We sit in the tent listening to you, and I cannot help visualizing similar scenes. For instance, Buddha addressing the bhikshus, or Vasishta instructing Rama in the royal court of Dasharatha. Thinking of these gurus, we have a few examples in the Upanishads. First, there was Varuna, the guru, is very much like you. He merely prods his disciple with the words Tapasa Brahma Vijijñāsasva, Tapo Brahmeti. Tapo Brahmeti. What is Brahman? Tapasa Brahma Vijijñāsasva. Don't ask me. Tapo Brahma. Tapas or austerity or discipline or what you often say, find out, is Brahman. And the disciple himself discovers the truth, though by stages. Yajnavalkya and Uddalaka adopt a more direct approach. Yajnavalkya, instructing his wife Maitreyi, uses the neti method. You can't describe Brahman positively, but when you eliminate all the others,
it is there.
It is there. As you said the other day, love cannot be described, this is it, but only by eliminating what is not love. Uddalaka used several analogies to enable his disciple to see the truth, and then nailed it in with the famous expression Tattvamasi. Dakshinamurti instructed his disciples by silence and Chinmudra. Chitram matataror mule vruddha shishya gurur yuva gurostu maunavyakyanam shishyastu chinna samshaya. It is said that the Sanat Kumaras went to him for instruction, and this young, when I read the descriptions of what Krishnamurti was when his young age, I am often reminded of that. These old sages went to him, and Dakshinamurti just kept silent and showed the Chinmudra. And the disciples looked at him, enlightened. And it is believed that one cannot realize the truth without the help, or whatever you call it, of a guru. Acharyavan Purusho Veda. Obviously, even the people who regularly come to Saanen are greatly helped in their quest. What, according to you, is the role of a guru, preceptor, or teacher, or awakener?
Right. So, if you're using the word guru in the classical sense, which is the dispeller of darkness, of ignorance, we're inquiring, can another, whatever it be, enlightened or stupid another, really help to dispel this darkness in oneself? Suppose A is ignorant and you are his guru. Guru in the accepted sense, one who dispels darkness and one who carries the burden for another also, one who points out. Taking all the meaning of those three, meaning one who points out, one who carries the burden, one who dispels darkness, that's a guru. Can such a guru help another to, or rather, can the guru dispel darkness of another? not theoretically, but actually. Can you, wait, sir, can you, if you are the guru of someone, can you dispel the darkness of another? For another? Knowing he's unhappy, confused, not enough brain matter, not enough love, sorrow, you follow all that, can you dispel that? Or has he to work tremendously on himself? You may point out, you may say, look, go through that door, but he has to do the work entirely from the beginning to the end. Therefore, you are not in guru in the accepted sense of that word. If you say another cannot help him.
There's just this if and but. The door is there, I have to go. But there is this ignorance of where the door is, which you by pointing out remove.
I have to walk there.
I have to walk, I'll walk.
You, sir, you are the guru, and you point out the door. You finished your job.
Yeah. So that darkness of ignorance is removed.
No, your job is finished. It's now for me to get up, walk, see what is involved in walking, and I have to do all that.
That is perfect.
Therefore, you don't dispel my darkness.
I'm sorry. Now, I don't know how to get out of this room.
You point it out.
So that I am ignorant of the existence of a door in a certain direction, and the guru removes the darkness of that ignorance.
Sir, wait a minute.
And then I take the necessary steps to get out.
No, ignorance, let's be clear, ignorance being lack of understanding or lack of the understanding of oneself. Not the big self or the little self. The door is the me through which I have to go. It isn't outside of me. It isn't a factual door as that painted door. It's a door in me through which I have to go. You said do that.
Exactly.
And you as a guru have finished. Wait. You don't become important. I don't put garlands around your head. You're finished. So I have to do all the work. All the work. You haven't dispelled the darkness of ignorance. You have dispelled, you have rather pointed out to me that you are the door through which you yourself have to go through.
Right. But would you, Krishnaji, accept that pointing out was necessary?
Oh yes, that is of course. I point out, I do that. We do that at the tent.
Yeah.
We all do it. I ask a man on the road, will you please tell me which is the way to Saanen? He'll tell me. But I don't take the time, the devotion, the love, and say, oh my God, you're the greatest. That's too childish.
Thank you, sir.
Your glass there.
Closely related to what the guru is the question of what the disciple is. Disciple is discipline, which you defined as learning. Vedanta classifies the seekers according to their qualifications or maturity and prescribes suitable methods of learning. The disciple with the keenest perception is given the instruction in silence or a brief awakening word like Tattvamasi is called Uttama Adhikari. The disciple with the mediocre ability is given more elaborate treatment, Madhyama Adhikari. The dull-witted is entertained with stories, rituals, etc., hoping for greater maturity. Perhaps you would comment on this
Yes, sir.
system?
Yes, sir.
Adhama Adhikari is called.
Yes. The top, the middle, and the bottom.
In the bottom.
Quite. And that implies, sir, we have to find out what we mean by maturity. Right? What do you...
May I perhaps
Yes, sir,
explain
please,
that? You said the other day, the whole world is burning. And you must realize the seriousness of it. And that hit me like a bolt. Even to grasp that truth, there may be millions who just don't bother.
There, of course, they're not
They just don't
interested.
bother, not interested. That we shall call the Adama, the lowest. And there are others like the hippies and so on who are interested in, who just see it, who play with it, exactly. And who may be entertained with stories, or who may tell you, look, we know we are all unhappy, we know the whole society is in a mess, we take a drug, LSD, and a shot, and we go into Elysium. We don't want anything else. And there may be others who respond to that, the world is burning, that idea. And that immediately sparks them. That's the top.
Yes.
So we find them everywhere.
Yes.
How to handle them?
How to handle the immature,
How totally immature.
the people who are utterly immature,
Yeah.
those who are partially mature,
Sir.
those who consider themselves mature.
Correct. Absolutely.
Now, to do that, what do we mean by maturity? What do you think is maturity? Does it depend on age?
I
Time?
would say so, no.
Huh?
No.
So we can remove that. Time, age is not indication of maturity.
no.
Or maturity, very learned.
No.
Huh?
No.
No, we can remove that. Or maturity, the man who is highly intellectually capable.
No, he may twist and turn and do whatever.
Therefore, he will consider he's not mature.
No.
Then what would you consider a mature, ripe man?
A man who is able to observe.
Wait, go a little more. What would you consider it? The man, obviously, the man who goes to churches, temples, mosques, is not.
No.
The obvious things are not. So, what would one consider a mature man who? Yes, sir. What is it?
In whom
Maturity. He's mature. Not intellectual,
know.
we said not intellectual, not the emotional, not the who plays intellectual, all the rest of it. We would say, if you eliminate all that, a maturity consists in being not self-centered.
correct.
Right? Not me first and everybody else second, or my emotions first. So, a maturity implies the absence of the me.
Absent of fragmentation, to use for the pure words. Yeah.
The me, which creates the fragment. Now, how would you appeal to that man? And a man who is half and half, me and not me, plays with both, and the other completely me, which is enjoys himself and does. So, how do you appeal to these three?
How do you awaken these three? Words? Yeah.
How do you awaken these three?
That's the problem.
Right? The man who is completely me, there is no awakening. He is not interested. He won't even listen to you. He will listen to you if you promise him something. Heaven, hell, fear, or more profit in the world, more money, more. But he will do it in order to gain. So the man who wishes to gain, achieve, is immature.
Quite right. Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Whether nirvana, near heaven,
Yeah, yeah.
moksha, or attainment, enlightenment, he is immature. Right? Now, what will you do with such a man?
Tell him stories.
I know. Why should I tell him stories? Why should I befuddle him more with my stories or your stories or his story? Why leave him alone?
Seems too cruel.
Huh? Cruel on whose part? He won't listen to you. Let's be factual, sir. Not.
Yeah.
I mean, you come to me. I am total me. You follow me. I am not concerned with anything but me. And you say, look, you are making a mess of the world. You are creating such misery for man. And you say, please go away.
Yeah.
I'm not.
But that's why they don't say it like that.
No. Put it any way you like. Put it in stories, cover it with sweet pills, but he is not going to evolve. He's not going to change the me. If he does, he comes to the middle. The me and not me. This is called evolution. The man who is the lowest reaches the middle.
How?
By knocking, by life teaches him, forces him, wars, hatred. You follow, he's destroyed. Or he goes into a church.
That's where what it is for.
No, therefore the church is a trap to him. It doesn't enlighten him. It doesn't say, for God's sake, break through. It says, we'll give you what you want. Entertainment. Jesus entertainment, or Hindu entertainment, or Buddhist, or Muslim, whatever it is, we'll give you entertainment. Only with the name of God, all that stuff. So they keep him at the same level. With little modifications, little bit polish, little bit more culture, little better clothes, eat properly. You follow me? Consider a little bit, not too much others. That's what is happening. So he is the probably, as you said just now, 80% of the world. More, 90. And you have the churches, the temples, the mosques, the Buddhist shrines, and so on. What can you do? I won't add to him. I won't tell him stories. I won't entertain him. Because there are people who are already entertained.
Thank you.
So why should I join that group? Then there's the middle one. The me and the not me. Who does social reform, little bit of good here and there, but always the me operating.
Yeah.
Right? Socially, politically, religiously, in every way, the me is operating, but a little more quietly, a little more polished, a little more in the cellar. Now, to him you can talk a little bit. Say, look, social reform is all right in its place, but it leads nowhere. And so on, so on, so on. You can talk to him, and perhaps he will listen to you. The other one will not listen to you at all. This chap will listen to you. Pay little attention and say, well, this is too serious. This requires too much work, and slips back into his old pattern. And we will talk to him, and leave him. What he wants to do is up to him. Now there is the other one, who is getting out of the me, who is stepping out of the circle of the me. There you can talk to him. There he will pay attention to you. So one will talk to all the three, not distinguish who is mature, who is not mature. We'll talk to the three categories, three types, and leave it to them.
The one who is not interested will walk out.
He walk out of the tent, walk out of the room, walk out of the... That's his affair. He goes to his church, into entertainment, football, or whatever it is. Moment I say, you are mature, I'll teach you more.
He is boosted up.
Not only is... No, he becomes the... the seed of poison is always there. So it's like, if the soil is right, the grain will take root. And if I say, well, you are mature and you are not mature, that's totally wrong. Who am I to tell somebody who you are mature? It's for him to find out.
But can a fool find out that he is a fool?
But if he's a fool, he won't even listen to me. You see, sir, we start out with the idea of wanting to help.
Yes. That's what we are basing the whole discussion on. Yes.
We
so far.
want to help people. I think that approach is not valid. Except in the medical world or in the technological world, it is necessary. I'm ill, I go to the doctor to be cured. Here, psychologically, if I'm asleep, I won't listen to you. If I'm half awake, I will listen to you according to my vacant state or moods, according to my up and down. Therefore, there is the one man who says, I really want to awake, keep psychologically awake. To him, you can, he's also, so we talk to all of them and not say, well.
Thank you. That clears a big misunderstanding. When sitting alone, I reflect over what you had said earlier in the day. I cannot help the spontaneous feeling, the Buddha said so, or Vasishtha said so. Though immediately I endeavor to cut through the imagery of the words to find the meaning. You help us find the meaning, though perhaps that is not your intention. So did Vasishtha and the Buddha. People come here as they went to those great ones. Why? What is there in human nature that seeks, gropes and grasps a crutch? Again, not to help them may be cruelty. To spoon feed them may be greater cruelty. What to do?
Quite. The question being, why do people need crutches?
Yes, and whether to help them or not.
Yes, that's it. Whether you should give them crutches to lean on something.
Two questions. Yeah.
Why people need crutches, and whether you are the person to give crutches.
No, you should or not.
Should or not, and whether you are
That's
capable. Those three are involved in it. Why do people want crutches? Why do people want to depend on others? Whether it is Jesus, Buddha, ancient saints, why?
First of all, there is something that is seeking, which seems to be good.
Is it? Is it? Or is it their fear of not achieving something which the saints, the great people pointed out? Or the fear of going wrong, of not being happy, of not getting enlightened, understand, whatever you call it.
Quote a very beautiful expression from the Bhagavad Gita. Chaturvidha bhajante mam jana sukrutano arjuna Artho jignasu artharthi jnani cha bharatarshava, he said, Krishna in the Gita. He said 4 types of people come to me. Artho jignasu artharthi jnani. Artha, one who is in distress, he comes to me for the removal of the distress. Jignasu, one who is a curious man, just wants to know what is this God, what is this truth, and is there heaven, hell. Artharthi, he wants some money.
Money, quite.
He also comes to God and prays to God for a little more money. I'm a millionaire, let me become multimillionaire. And the jnani,
The wise one.
the wise one. Tesham jnani nityayuktaha eka bhakti vishishyate, he said. All of them are good. He seems to cover the whole lot with a nice, lovely blanket.
Yeah.
All of them are good because they are all somehow or other seeking God. But Tesham jnani nityayuktaha. Of all these, I think the jnani is the best one. So the seeking may be due to all sorts of reasons.
No, sir. First, what are we saying? Why do we seek? Then, why does humanity demand crutches?
Yeah.
Those 2 questions. Now, seeking. Why does one seek? And why should one seek?
Why should one seek? Why does one seek?
Why does one seek? And why should one seek at all?
Why should one seek? Because one finds something missing.
Which means what? I'm unhappy, and I want happiness. That's a form of seeking. I don't know what enlightenment is. I've read about it in books, and it appeals to me, and I seek it. Right? And also I seek a better job. Because there's more money, more profit, more enjoyment, and so on. In all this, there is seeking, searching, wanting. I can understand the man wanting better job. Because society is so monstrously arranged as it is, so all the rest of it. So, right. But psychologically, inwardly, what am I seeking? And when I do find it in my search, how do I know that what I find is true?
Perhaps the seeking drops.
Better. How do I know when I, in my search, and say this is the truth? How do I know? Can I ever say this is the truth? Therefore, why should I seek it? So what makes me seek? I know we are seeking. So what makes me seek is much more a fundamental question than search and say this is the truth. If I say this is the truth, I must know it already.
Yeah, got it.
If I know it already, it is not true.
Why should I seek?
Yeah. It's something dead, past, which tells me that is the truth. And this dead thing can't tell me what is true. So, why do I seek? Because deeply I'm unhappy. Deeply I'm confused. Deeply there is great sorrow in me. And I want to find a way out of it. You come along as a guru, or as an enlightened man, or as a professor, and say, look, this is the way out. The basic reason for my search is to escape from this agony. And posit that I can escape and the enlightenment is over there.
Over there in there.
In myself. So, can I escape from it? I can't. Escape in the sense, avoid it, resist it, run away from it. I can't. It is there. Wherever I go, I'm still there. So what I have to do is to find out in myself the cause, or not the cause, why it has come into being, why I'm suffering. Then, is that a search? Oh no. I want to find out why I'm suffering. That's not search.
Quest, perhaps.
No, it's not even a quest. It's like going to a doctor and say, I've got tummy ache, and he tells you, look, you're eating bad kind of food and you'll have tummy ache. So I avoid it. So if the cause of my misery is in myself, not necessarily created by the environment in which I live, then I have to find out how to be free from it for myself. You may point out as the Guru the door, but as soon as you point it out, your job is over. Then I have to work. Then I have to find out how to, what to do, how to live, how to think, how to feel this way of living in which there is no suffering.
Then, to that extent, the help is justified, pointing out.
And not justified, you naturally do.
And supposing the other man gets stuck somewhere, that is, he goes there and he knocks against this table.
He must learn the table. He must learn from here, when going towards the door, the obstacle that's in the way.
He doesn't know.
He'll find out. If he's inquiring, he'll find out. But if you come along and say, there is the door, there is the table, don't knock again. You're just like a child leading me to the door.
That's spoon feeding.
There is no meaning to it.
So that much of help, the pointing out help is justified, not more.
I mean, that's like any decent man with a decent heart will say, look, don't go down there, there's a precipice. And if a man insists going there, he has to learn. I once met a very well-known guru in India. He came to see me. And it was quite an odd performance he put up. There was a mattress on the floor. And we said to him politely, sit on the mattress, sir. He sat down and assumed the guru. Put his stick in front of him, and began to discuss. And he said, we need guru, because we know better than the layman. And because, why should he go through danger? We'll help. Regular arguments. And it was impossible to talk with him because he had assumed that he knew. And everybody else was in ignorance.
It's very good. But then he can do nothing with those ignorant people.
I said so. So at the end of 10 minutes, he left. Rather annoyed because
That is one of the famous things for which Krishnaji is famous in India. Every Swami. Next. While you rightly point out the utter futility of blindly accepting formulas and dogmas, you do not ask for their summary rejection. While tradition can be a deadly block, it is perhaps worth understanding it and its origin, else we might destroy one tradition and an equally pernicious one might spring up.
Quite right.
Hence, may I offer a few traditional beliefs for your scrutiny, so that we may discover where and how what you called good intentions veered towards hell, the shell that imprisons us.
Right. So what is the question, sir? Now, go ahead.
Each branch of yoga prescribed its own disciplines in the firm conviction that if one pursued it in the right spirit, one would end sorrow. I shall enumerate them for your comments. Karma Yoga. It demanded dharma, or a virtuous life, which was often extended to include the much abused varnashrama dharma. Krishna's dictum, Swadharme nidhanam shreyah paradharmo bhayavaha, seems to have indicated that if a man voluntarily submitted himself to certain rules of conduct, his mind would be free to observe and learn with the help of certain bhavanas. Would you like to comment on this idea?
What are bhavanas? So that being...
that we will discuss next.
Yeah.
Now, first, the concept of dharma and sort of rules and regulations, criminal code, and do this. This is right and this is wrong.
Therefore, which means really, you lay down.
Somebody lays down.
It doesn't matter. You X lays down. What is right conduct?
And one who voluntarily adopts that.
Yes. There is a teacher who lays down what is righteous behavior. And I come along and voluntarily, to use your word voluntarily, take to it, accept it. Is there such thing as voluntary acceptance? First, should you lay down what is right conduct? Should the teacher lay down what is right conduct? Which means he has set the pattern, the mold, the conditioning. You follow the danger of it? He has laid down the conditioning which produces right behavior. Which will lead him to heaven.
That's one aspect of it. The other aspect I'm more interested in, if that is accepted, then the psychological apparatus is free to observe, is free to learn.
Sir, I understand. Why should I accept it?
Just to free this...
No, wait a minute. Why should, first of all, you are the teacher. You lay down the mode of conduct. How do I know that you are right? You may be wrong. I'm not pleasing.
Yeah.
You may be wrong. And I won't accept your authority. Right? Because I see authority of the church, authority of the priest, authority of the guru, and they've all failed. Therefore, a new teacher laying down a new law, say, for God's sake, you're playing the same game, I don't accept you. But if I voluntarily accept it, is there such thing as voluntary acceptance, voluntary free acceptance? Or I'm already, because you are a teacher, you're the great one, and you promise me a reward at the end of it. Unconsciously, consciously. Therefore, I voluntarily, quotes, accept it. I don't accept it freely. If I am free, I don't accept it at all. I live.
Yeah.
I live righteously.
So righteousness must come from within.
Obviously, otherwise, but it's the whole study of behavior. What's going on? They say outward circumstances, environment, culture produce behavior, certain type of behavior. That is, if I lived in Russia, the communist environment, with the domination, with its threat, exposure, going to the concentration camp, will make me behave in a certain way. I'll put on a mask, frightened, I'll behave in a certain way. In a society which is more or less free, where there is no rules, because nobody believes anymore in rules, where everything is permitted, I play.
Now, which one is more acceptable from the spiritual point of view?
Neither. Because behavior is something which, we'll put it, virtue is something which cannot be cultivated by me or by society. I have to find out how to live rightly. Because virtue is something which is not accepting of patterns and following a deadly pattern of routine. Goodness is not routine, sir, surely. Huh? If I'm good because my teacher says I'm good, it's meaningless. Therefore, there is no such thing as voluntary acceptance of the righteous behavior which is laid down by a guru, by a teacher.
One has to find it.
Therefore, I begin to inquire, I begin to look, I begin to find out how to live. I can only live when there is no fear. When there is no, all the rest of it.
But
Then,
perhaps I should have explained that this karma yoga is, according to some Shankaracharya, is meant only for this lower.
you see, so I don't know what is low and high.
That's the one who is not quite mature.
That's it. Huh? The mature, the immature, and the totally immature. And therefore, the Shankara XYZ says, lay down the rules for the lowest or the middle. And they don't do it. You follow? They read the book of Shankara, or some Pandit reads to them, and they say how marvelous it is, and go back and live their own life. You know that. So this is the obvious fact. You see it in Italy. They listen to the Pope, and nobody cares either. And they listen most earnestly for 2 or 3 minutes, and go on with their life, daily life, as they live. It doesn't make any.
Absolutely.
So that's what I want to ask. Why do the so-called Shankaras, gurus, lay down laws at all what is behavior?
Otherwise, they think there will be chaos.
But there is chaos.
In any case.
There's terrible chaos in the world. In India, they have read Shankara and all the teachers for 10,000 or 5,000 years. Look at him.
But perhaps according to them, the alternative is impossible.
Well, what is the alternative? Confusion.
Yeah.
And which is what they are living in.
So that's not an alternative.
So why not understand the confusion in which they are living instead of studying Shankara? If they understand the confusion, they can change it.
Perhaps that leads us on to this question of bhavana, where a bit of psychology is involved. Coming now to this sadhana of karma yoga, the Bhagavad Gita prescribes, among other things, the nimitta bhavana, nimitta matram bhavasavya sachin. Bhavana is undoubtedly being, literally. And nimitta bhavana is being an egoless instrument in the hands of God, quotations, or the infinite being. But it is also taken to mean attitude or feeling in the hope that it will help a beginner observe himself, and thus the bhavana will fill his being. Perhaps it is indispensable for people of little understanding. Perhaps it will permanently distract them by self-deception. But how can we make this work?
The question is, sir, you're asking,
there is this technique of bhavana.
That implies, sir, a system,
Yeah.
a method through which by the practice of which you reach ultimately enlightenment, let's call it for the moment, God or truth or anything. Therefore, practice in order to come to God or whatever it is, right? The moment you practice a method, what happens? I practice day after day the method laid down by you. What happens to me?
Yeah, this is famous, as you think so you become, or yad bhavam tad bhavati.
Yeah. I think that by the practice of this method I'll reach enlightenment. So what do? Every day I practice it. I become more and more and more mechanical.
But there's feeling.
The mechanical routine is going on with feeling I like it, I don't like it, it's a bore, it is a trial, I have to pray. There's a battle with it going on. So anything I practice, any discipline in the accepted sense of the word, makes my mind more and more narrow, limited, dull. And you are promising at the end of this heaven. So you are saying, become dull to achieve heaven. I said, but it's like the soldiers are being trained day after day, drill, till they are nothing but instruments of the officer or the sergeant or whoever it is. Or give them little initiative. So we are I'm questioning this whole approach of system and method towards enlightenment. Even in factories, a man who merely moves the button or pushes this or that, he doesn't produce as much as the man who is free to learn as he goes along.
Can we put that into this bhavana?
Why not?
Can we put that into that bhavana?
Why not?
Then it works.
That's the only way.
Yeah.
That's the real bhavana. Learn as you go along. Therefore, no method. Therefore, keep awake. Therefore, be alert as you go along. If I take a walk, and if I have a system, a method of walking, and I'm concerned with that, then I shan't see the birds, the trees, the marvelous light on the leaf, nothing. And why should I accept the teacher who gives me the mold? He may be as peculiar as I am. And there are teachers who are very odd.
Yes.
So I said, I reject all of that.
But the problem is again of the beginner.
Who is the beginner? The immature one?
Practically.
Therefore you are giving him a toy to play with?
Some sort of opening through which he...
Toy. And he enjoys that toy. He says, I'm practicing all day. And his mind remains very small.
Perhaps that is your answer to this Bhakti Yoga question too. But again, somehow they wanted to help these people break through.
I am not at all sure, sir. I am not at all sure.
I'll discuss this Bhakti. Coming to Bhakti Yoga, the Bhakta is encouraged to worship God even in temples and images, feeling the divine presence within. In quite a number of our mantras, it's repeated again and again and again. You are the all-pervading, you are the omnipresent, etc., etc. Krishna asks the devotee to see God in the objects of nature and then as the all. At the same time, through japa or repetition of a mantra with the corresponding awareness, tad japas tad artha bhavanam, of its significance, the devotee is asked to perceive that the divine presence outside is identical with the indwelling presence. Thus, the individual realized his oneness with the collective. Is there anything fundamentally wrong with this system?
Oh, yes, sir. Sir, there is a whole... The communist bloc doesn't believe in God at all.
We may not use that word.
They have put the state, or they don't believe in that at all. They are selfish, they are frightened, but there is no God, no mantras, no. Another doesn't believe in any of that. Doesn't know mantras and repetition, japa and all the rest of it. He says, I want to find out what truth is. I want to find out if there is God at all. There may be no such thing. And the Gita and all, they assume that there is. See, they assume there is God. And who are they to tell me there is or there is not, including Krishna or X, Y, Z? I said, you may be your own conditioning, that is. You're born in that peculiar climate, with that peculiar tradition, with that peculiar attitude, and you're just believing. And then you lay down rules how to get it. But if one rejects all authority, including the communists, including the Western and the Asiatic authority, all authority, then where am I? Then I want to find out. I'm unhappy, I'm miserable.
But am I free from conditioning? No.
That's my business, to be free. Otherwise I can't learn. If I'm still a Hindu for the rest of my life, what I finished? The Catholic remains Catholic. And the communist is equally deadly. So is it possible, that's the question really, is it possible to reject all conditioning which accepts authority? Can I really reject all authority and stand alone to find out? And I must be alone. Otherwise, if I'm not alone in the deeper sense of that word, I'm just repeating what Shankara, Buddha, X, Y repeats. What's the point of it? Knowing very well the repetition is not the real. So mustn't I, mature, immature, or half mature, semi-mature, mustn't they all learn to stand alone? It is painful because they say, well, oh my God, how can I stand alone? To be without the church, to be without God, to be without the commissar. So there's fear.
But you think everyone can work out this fear, get out of it?
Why not, sir? If you cannot, then you're caught in it. Then no amount of gods and mantras and tricks will help you. They may cover it up. They may bottle it up. They may suppress it and put it in the refrigerator. But it is always there.
Now there is the other method of standing alone, Raja Yoga. The student is asked to cultivate again certain virtuous qualities which, now, on the one hand, make of him a good citizen, and on the other, remove possible psychological barriers, possible.
Yes.
The sadhana, which is mainly awareness of thought, which includes memory, imagination and sleep, seems to be close to your own teaching. Seems to. Asana and pranayama are auxiliaries perhaps. And even the dhyana of yoga is not intended to bring about self-realization, which is admittedly not the end product of a series of actions. Krishna clearly says that yoga clarifies perception. Atma Shuddhaye. Do you approve of this approach? It's purely, there's not much of help here involved. Even Ishvara says it's only a Purusha Vishesha. It is sort of Guru, invisible, in the indwelling presence.
Yes, what's the question there?
Do you approve of this approach? There is a method of sitting in meditation and trying to dive deeper and deeper and finding the self.
Wait, that one has to go into the question of meditation.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Yeah. And Patanjali defines meditation as the absence of all world idea or any extraneous idea. That is
Look, sir,
vritti shunyam.
look, sir, I haven't read anything. Patanjali.
You are Patanjali.
No, I've never read anything except at all a little bit of the Bible as a literature, because very good English, that's all. Now, here I am, I know nothing. I only know that I'm in sorrow. And I've got fairly good mind. Right? And I have no authority. Shankara, Krishna, Patanjali, nobody. Because I'm absolutely alone. That you follow? I've got to face my life. And I've got to be a good citizen. Not according to the communist or the capitalist or the socialist. Good citizen means behavior. Not, which is not different in the office and different at home. Right? Now, so what I want to find out how to be free of this sorrow. That's one. Right. Then, being free, I shall find out if there is such thing as God. God or whatever.
Self or whatever.
Whatever it is. So, how am I to learn to be free of this enormous burden? That's my first question.
Yeah.
I can only understand it in relationship with another. I can't sit by myself and dig in, because I may pervert it, because my mind is too silly, prejudiced. So I have to find out in relationship with nature, with human beings, with what this fear, this sorrow is, in relationship only. Because if I sit by myself, I can deceive myself very well. There, in being awake, in relationship, I spot it immediately.
If you're alert.
And therefore, that is the point.
Yeah.
If I am alert, watchful, I find it out. And that doesn't take time to find out.
But if one is not.
Therefore, the problem is to be awake, to be aware, alert. Is there a method for it? Follow it, sir. If there is a method which will help me to be aware, I practice it.
Yeah.
Is that awareness? Because in that is involved routine, acceptance of authority, repeating, which is gradually making my alertness
Dull.
dull. So I reject that, the practice of alertness. So I say, by joy, I can only understand sorrow in relationship, and that understanding comes only through alertness. Therefore, I must be alert. I am alert because my demand is to end sorrow. Therefore, I must be alert. If I am hungry, I want food. And I go after food. In the same way, I discover the enormous burden of sorrow in me. And I discovered it through relationship. How I behave with you. How I talk to people. You follow? In that process of relationship, this thing is revealed.
But in that relationship, you are all the time self-aware, if I may put it so.
Yes. I'm aware, alert, watching.
Yeah. Is it so easy for an ordinary person?
It is if the man is serious and says, I want to find out. The ordinary man, sir, 80-90% he says, I'm not really, what are you talking about? Go away, I want to be entertained. By the Gita, by the Bible, by the church, by Jesus, by Buddha. I want to be entertained. Football, I don't care. But the man who is serious, he says, I'll find out. Find out, not just invent.
Yeah.
I want to see if the mind can be free from sorrow, and it's only possible to discover it in relationship. I can't invent sorrow. Or in relationship, sorrow has come.
But the sorrow is within.
Yes, sorrow is within. Naturally, it's a psychological phenomena.
Yeah. You wouldn't want a man to sit and meditate and try to...
Therefore, let's come back
sharpen.
Now come back to the question of meditation. What is meditation? Not according to Patanjali, not according... I don't read. I don't want even to know what they think. Because they might be totally mistaken. And I might be mistaken when I say, I know how to meditate. So I have to find out. I have to say, now what is meditation?
Waiting for it.
Yes, sir, yes, sir. What is meditation? Sitting quiet, concentrated, controlling thought.
Watching, perhaps.
Watching. You can watch when you're walking.
And difficult unless you are...
Eating. When you are listening to people. When you are... and somebody is saying something that hurts you, flatters you. That means you have to be alert all the time when you are exaggerating, when you are telling half-truths, when you follow it. So, to watch you need a very quiet mind. That it is, that's meditation. The whole of that is meditation.
To me, it looks as though that Patanjali evolved an exercise for quietening the mind, not on the battlefield of life, but start it when you are alone, and then extend it
to the battle,
to the relationship.
But if you escape from the battle,
for a little while.
You see, if you escape from the battle, you haven't understood the battle. The battle is you. How can you escape from yourself? You can take a drug, you can pretend that you have escaped, you can repeat mantras and jab and all kinds, but the battle is going on. Therefore, first you say get away from it quietly, and then come back to it. That is a fragmentation. We're suggesting, look at the battle. You're involved in it, you're caught in it, you are it.
That leads us to the last. You are it. It's,
You are the battle.
yeah. You are it, you are everything. You are the battle, you are the fighter, you are away from it, everything. And that is what perhaps Jnana Yoga implied, suggested. According to Jnana Yoga, the seeker is asked to equip himself with the four means. Viveka, seeking the real and discarding the false. Vairagya, not seeking pleasure. Shat Sampat, which meant in effect living a life conducive to the practice of this yoga. Mumukshutva, a total dedication to a search of truth. The disciple then approached a guru, and the sadhana consisted of Shravana, hearing, Manana, reflection, and Nididhyasana, assimilation, which all of us do here. The guru adopted various means to enlighten the student, which usually implied the realization of the all or the whole being. Shankara describes it thus: Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahmeva Napara. The infinite alone is real, the world is unreal, the individual is non-different from the infinite, so that there is no fragmentation there. Shankara said that the world is Maya, by which he meant that the world appearance is not the real, which one has to investigate and discover. The Upanishads envision the truth in the following Mahavakyas: Prajnanam Brahma, consciousness is the infinite. Aham Brahmasmi, I am the infinite. Or I is the infinite. Tat Tumasi, thou art that. I am Atma Brahma. The self is the infinite. Even these should lead to cosmic consciousness or the realization, Sarvam Khaluvidam Brahma, Neha Nanasti Kinchana. Everything is, the all is Brahman, all is the infinite. Or the infinite is the infinite. And its active manifestation in daily life, which Krishna thus describes in the Gita: Brahmarpanam Brahmahavihi, Brahmagno Brahmana Hutam, Brahmaiva Tena Gantavyam, Brahma Karma Samadhina. The yogi is then aware that the action, the doer of the action, the instruments involved, and the object towards which the action is directed are all one whole, and thus fragmentation is overcome. How do you react to this Jnana Yoga method? First, there is this Shat Sampat, the Sadhana Chatushtaya, which the disciple prepares himself for it. Then he goes to the Guru and sits and hears the truth from the Guru, and then sits and reflects over it and assimilates the truth till it becomes one with him. And the truth is usually said in terms of these formulas. But these formulas we repeat. They are supposed to be realized. Has this perhaps some validity?
So, if you hadn't read any of this, none of this, Raja Yoga, Kama Yoga, Bhakti, everything you want, Patanjali, Shankara, nothing. What would you do?
Perhaps I would have had to find out.
What would you do?
Struggle.
Huh?
Struggle.
Which you are doing anyhow. What would you do? Where would you start? knowing nothing of what they've said, including what the communist leaders have said. Marx, Engels, Lenin, Stalin, all the butchers. I haven't read a thing, I don't want to know. I am here, ordinary human being. Where am I to begin? I have to work, karma yoga. I have to work, garden, cook, in the factory, in office. I have to work. And also, there's a wife and children. I love. I hate. I'm sexual fiend. Because that's the only escape offered to me in life. There I am. That's my map of life. And I start from there. I can't start over there. I have to start here. And I say to myself, what is it all about? I know nothing about God. I know nothing about. They can invent, they can pretend. I have a horror of pretending. If I don't know, I don't know. Full stop. I'm not going to quote Chakra Buddha or anybody. Right. So I say, now this is where I start. Can I bring about order in my life? Order. Not invented by me or by them. So that order is virtue. Can I bring it about? And to be virtuous, there must be no battle.
Yeah.
No conflict. In me or outside. Therefore, there must be no aggressiveness, no violence, no hate, no animosity. I start from there. And I find out I'm afraid. I must be free of fear. And to be conscious is to be aware of all this. Aware where I am. And from there I walk, move. And I find out I can be alone. Not carrying all the burden of memory of Shankaras, Buddhas, Marx, Engels. You follow? I can be alone because I've understood order in my life. And I've understood order because I have denied disorder, because I've learnt about disorder. Disorder means conflict. Acceptance of authority, complying, imitation, all that is disorder. The social morality is disorder. Out of that, I bring order in myself. Not myself as a potty little human being in a backyard, as a human being.
How do you explain that? Self.
This is the human being who is going through this hell. All of us are going. Every human being is going through this hell. So if I, as a human being, understand this, I have discovered something which all human beings can discover.
But how does one discover again that one is not
deceiving oneself? Very simple. First, humility. I don't want to achieve anything.
I don't know if you have come across such people. So I am the humblest man in the whole world.
That's all too silly, sir. Those are appalling crowds.
How do
I know. Desire for achievement is not.
But when one is in it, in the soup, how does one know?
Oh yes, you do know. When your desire says, I must be like Mr. Smith, who is the Prime Minister or the General or the Executive Officer, I want to. Then there is beginning of arrogance, pride, achievement. When I want to be like the hero, when I want to become like the Buddha, when I want to reach enlightenment, when desire says be something. And desire says in being something you'll have tremendous pleasure.
But have we still tackled the root of the problem?
Oh yes, I have.
No. In all this.
Yes, the me is the root of the problem. Self-centeredness.
Yeah, but what is it?
What?
What is it?
That makes for
What is this me?
self-centeredness. I am more important than you. My house, my property, my achievement, you follow me first.
But the martyr may say, I am nothing, my lord.
Who?
I can be shot.
Who?
The martyr.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
I can be shot. They are silly asses to be shot. I don't want to be shot.
They may say that we are completely selfless, unselfish.
Who? I'm not interested in what somebody else says. You are.
He may be bluffing himself.
Yeah, I don't. As long as I'm quite clear in myself, I'm not deceiving.
Mhm.
I can deceive myself the moment I have a measure. When I compare myself with that man with a Rolls Royce, or when there is the Buddha, or when there is Marx, comparing myself with somebody is the beginning of illusion. When I don't compare, I move from there.
To be the self.
Whatever I am. Which is, I'm ugly, I'm battle, I'm full of anger, full of deception, this, that, and fear, and all that. I start from there. And see if it is at all possible to be free of all this. Without that, my thinking about God is just like my thinking about climbing those hills, which I never will.
But even then, you said something very interesting the other day. The individual and the collective
Yes.
must are one.
Yes.
How does the individual then realize that unity with the collective?
But it's a fact. Here I am living in Stad, somebody living in India, has the same problems. Same anxiety, same fear, only different expressions, but it's the root of the thing is the same. That's one point. Second, the environment has produced this individuality. And the individuality has created the environment. My greed has created this rotten society. My anger, my hatreds, my fragmentation of my life has created the nations, all this mess. So, I am the world is me. Logically, intellectually, verbally, it is so.
But how does one
Feel it? That comes only when you change. When you change, you're no longer a national. You don't belong to anything.
mentally I may say I am not a Hindu or I am not an Indian?
That's mentally, that's just a trick.
How
to
does
feel it in your blood.
If you will please explain what that means.
What it means is, sir, when you see the danger of nationalism, you're out of it. When you see the danger of fragmentation, you no longer belong to the fragment. Don't you? That's all. But we don't see the danger of it.
Thank you.
Yes, sir, please, sir.